Hello and welcome to another edition of Eduleader Speaks. Today we have with us Swoyan Satyendu, the Chief Operating Officer of the ODM Education Foundation, an alumni of IIM Bangalore, Harvard University, the London School of Economics and Political Science. Swoyan's business management and decision-making skills has a significant positive impact on the operations of the group. Recently, he has been recognized by some of India's top leaders for his futuristic views in the sphere of transforming education. In the latest EducationWorld India School Rankings 2021-22, ODM Public School has been ranked Odisha's second co-ed day-cum-boarding school and is among the top 15 countrywide. Welcome, sir.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
After 2 years of closure of schools, children are getting back to physical classes. What significant changes do you notice in terms of their behavior?
So I think the biggest thing is all our campuses have come back to life. We are brimming with children, their happiness, their cries. And that in itself is a big thing for us to have everyone back into the same energy level that we had. The most important change that we see this time is that our teaching community, our teachers, our parents, everyone has come with a big hybrid mode in mind. So our classrooms, which earlier were just about the smart boards or, the green boards or white boards, have completely transformed this time. We're more into pen tablets, interactive boards, LMSs, everything is integrated. Students are using tablets in the classroom. But that is a big change that we see post-COVID seamlessly, which would not have been possible otherwise. And so that's where I believe that with COVID coming in, the biggest boon that the education industry could have is that we got a head start to being hybrid.
How has ODM Public School ensured that international standards of education is affordable to the masses?
So I think the biggest thing here comes down to the fact that everything that we say or talk about being international, are basically features that we add to the school, are basically be it curriculum-oriented features or be it features in terms of tying up with some big academies or be it features in terms of the amenities and the facilities that we give in the school, right? And each of these features that we talk about have a cost attached to it. And eventually, when we add up these things, the fees goes up. And that's why it has always been considered international schools, the fees have to be high. So that's where we come up with 2-3 things, very honestly, because our entire objective goes around making international education affordable to the masses. So the first thing that we do is, as much as possible, we try and create these facilities and features in-house. That's point number one. And we do that so as to manage cost. And we try and control our cost at every point so that we can talk about affordability. And third, and the most important thing for us, the schools that we build with this vision, it's not about making money. Rather, it's about creating a mark with the vision that we have. So the percentage of the expenses that is kept as, you call it profit for the trust or expansion profit for the trust, whatever it is, we've limited that particular amount. And by doing cost management, by having in-house resources and also not having a profit-oriented mindset around it, that is how we have been able to bring down the fee structure by providing whatever we are providing today. And that is how we have been able to make international education affordable to the masses.
That's great. That's really inspiring. My next question for you. While we are all talking about the learning loss in terms of academics, soft skills is another aspect. How could this be compensated for, and what are some of the ways in which your school is dealing with this?
See, the first thing that we need to understand is that when we are dealing with children, the best thing that we can think of them as, they are like clay, okay? Whatever shape you give them at this age, they're gonna, have that shape eventually. Right? Even if there has been a 2 years loss, even if the kids have been back at home, once they're back here, they're all ready to listening to you. They're all there. So it's very important at this stage that we acknowledge the fact that whatever we provide them, they will grasp it, they'll learn it faster, and that is how they'll shape their character. Right. So when I talk about the co-academic skills per se, or the communication skills, the personality, or the other activity-based skills that we're talking about here, One of the major things is that what we have done is that we have introduced mandatory curriculums around this. For example, I talk about the soft skills, the speaking skills. We have a curriculum called Communication and Personality Development, which is mandatory for each child from grade 1 to grade 8 in our schools. And they will have 45 minutes to 1 hour period every week compulsory. Not just that, to make students serious around it, we treat this CPD, the Communication and Personality Development, as a main subject, on the basis of which there are half yearly, the midterm, and the annual examinations as well. Okay, and these things actually make the students serious. Eventually, they make parents serious, spread out, and students are, because of the exam pressure you talk about, or because of the peer pressure in the classroom, and because it's a contact program with 1 hour a week, the students end up going through this curriculum rigorously, and all we know at the end of the day is that they get better and better each day, right? And similarly, we have done it for other co-academic activities, be it music, be it personality development, be it other skills like leadership and all those things. And we have made it mandatory in the curriculum, have linked it to an examination. And that's how we believe students put more effort into it. And all as educational facilitators, we need to do is have a structured program and a structured pattern to monitor it. And eventually the output comes.
What is that one aspect in which ODM Public School excels?
So I think the biggest thing that we have been able to do so far, which is why we have made a mark for ourselves, is actually balancing academics and co-academics, plus, the psychological, social, and career-oriented growth. So in this school, it's not that we want to build a school that is purely academic centric, or we are not into building a school that is purely co-academic centric. What we have done is we put our effort day in and day out in terms of designing programs in such a way, designing structures in such a way. Any child who walks into our school has an option to either be super academic focus, or either have a super co-academic focus and excel at it, or at the same time have a balanced focus in both academics and co-academics as well. And this structure of ours, where we actually facilitate a balanced combination of every element of learning, that is exactly what has helped us excel and make a mark for ourselves.
Where do you see ODM Public School 5 years from now? Like any further expansion plans in mind?
Absolutely. I think so. ODM Public School is, of course, a flagship school of the educational group. We recently opened ODM Global School, which is purely into the global curriculum, international exposure, and everything. And as we speak, we are opening up 2, 3 more campuses this year in 2, 3 more states. So our plan is actually taking this program of making international education affordable and reaching out to all tier 2 and tier 3 cities where the students and the parents of those cities need a good standardized school. And that is where our vision is. Of course, initially the plan is to expand to 2, 3 schools year on year for the next 2, 3 years. But eventually, yes, to announce it out to the world loud, we are looking at having a student base of 1 lakh students in the next 10 years' time. And that is exactly what we're chasing as a group, I would say.
That's really great, and all the best for all the future endeavors. A thinker or a philosopher whom you admire the most?
So I think very recently I have been a big fan of Sadhguruji. For one big reason, I think I really like his ideologies. I am a millennial, so I'm from the eastern part of India. So I have had family cultures and family values that I've grown myself up in. Right. At the same time, I have spent quite a significant part of my college career in Boston and London, both. So I also see the value that is driven by that. And I'm a believer of the fact that both these values have to be balanced. And only that's when we can have our own way of success. We can't really copy the West in everything that we do.
Your favorite Nobel laureate?
I think on the top of that list would be Malala Yousafzai for 2 big reasons. One, at the age what she did, that is something that is a living example for all the kids today. Okay. Right? Upon the issues that she actually picked to fight upon, where something that we might not realize sitting here today in our world, but is a big thing out there. And that age being able to do that, after that, the incident that she went through and reviving from that and still standing strong, that takes some grit and courage, I would say. And that's something all of us have to learn something about, including me.
Okay. Your favorite book on education?
I think one of my favorite books here would be I think I read up this book around how children succeed, and that was by Paul Tough. It is all about what are the 2 3 important qualities that we need to bring in children in terms of how they can succeed eventually, no matter what they do.
I think with this we come to the end of the interview.
Thank you so much.